Hi, it's Jane, and I thought I would do a little bit of knitting with you today while we did just a little chat. It won't be too long, I don't think. I did want to show you. This is a one of the first wearables I had ever made, and it is a sweater, and I think it's called, I want to say, Cabin Fever sweater. This was a paid for um, pattern, and it's done in a cotton fabric, cotton yarn. You notice I still have a stitch marker there. I made this probably in 2008. So let me get that stitch marker out of there and then we'll get to knitting. But it's a really nice pattern. It was done with the G hook, very comfortable. This was a cotton that I'd gotten from Knit Picks. I don't think it was a DK weight. It may have been, but looking at it, it almost looks like it's a 4 weight. So, yeah, that was my first ever attempt in doing a wearable, and I did enjoy doing it. I do have the pattern in one of my pattern books way back there, and I thought, I may do a few more of those in a different yarn, but it's nice and warm. It's kind of chilly here today. We've got a little bit of overcast clouds, and it's in the low 60s. Of course, although I do have the heat turned on, I've turned it down pretty low. Just because I'm not ready to start spending all that money for heating this season. Because sometimes it can get absolutely ridiculous, if you know what I mean. So, what are you working on today? Have some of you ventured into the knitting game? I know Donna had shared the other day, she had shared the Boo wall hanging or banner that she was making that Jada and Stitches had been doing. And that is one that I have bookmarked to do at a later date just because I just don't have time to get it done right now. So yeah. But I've been sitting planning my next adventures with yarn. And as you know, I was working on my shawl. I have 2 more rows to finish that shawl, a second sample of the spring garden shawl, so that I could start the tutorial this week on it. And I will be doing that at a later date. But I'm finding that my mind again is wandering, and I feel the need to start. I don't know what it is about startitis with me that I feel that I need to start 395 projects to be working on during each week, but apparently that is a problem that I have, and I'm trying to quench it, trying to be a little more monogamous and only work on 3 projects at a time. But I can tell you right now, my mind is already just wandering like crazy. I'm ready to move on and to get into some different yarns, to play a little, if you will. I like playing. Of course, yarn is my favorite fabric or fiber, although I do like sewing quite a bit, so I do find that kind of therapeutic in a way. It's relaxing, calming. I'm able to get a lot done a lot faster than by just knitting, crocheting. So it does have its own perks. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I realized that I hadn't got the pictures put up of those Halloween totes and drawstring bags that I was offering, Christmas bags at a lower price, and I was like, what happened there? I think that I had another issue with someone calling on me to do some things. Of course, I helped with doing that and couldn't be there for that, so I don't know. It's just, so many things going on. It just seems like it's hard to get on top of things sometimes. The CPAP is going well. Not really enjoying it all that much. But it is what it is. I know eventually I'll get used to it. Cats have gotten used to it, so now they get back in bed with me, do their normal cuddling and whatnot. Although when I get up to go to the bathroom, their ears go back because I unplug from the machine, and I leave the gear on my face and I go to the bathroom. They can come back in and plug back up, but they freak out because generally what I do is I take that air hose and I stick it under my pillow, but they're confused by the noise momentarily, I think. But it's kind of cute to watch them because they kind of watch me like, what is she doing? That thing hanging off of her face. So I have a good laugh with the cats, and they kind of think it's odd the way that I'm got everything hooked up because do wear a chin strap, and for some reason they're scared to death of that chin strap. If I put just the chin strap on, they want, when I go try to pet them, they want nothing to do with me. But if I've got the chin strap on and the mask, they're perfectly okay with it. So, I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about those folks in Florida because I understand they're going to get hit pretty hard with this Milton. He is indeed landing with a Category 4, that southern end of Florida. So if you're in Florida, I hope you're staying safe. And I know most of the time, when it's not hurricane season, Florida normally has a pretty good year, season. So at church the other day, we had someone who was from the Operation Christmas Child that came in with a bunch of videos, pictures, and stuff to talk about her trip to Kenya to deliver some of the shoe boxes there. And she was talking about the shoe boxes, and in the area where they were taking those shoe boxes in Kenya, I guess they had closed things down for the shoe boxes where they couldn't bring them in. They've got all these rules and restrictions, which a lot of countries do on those kind of things, that you can't bring in, But she'd also talked about the fact that on their on Samaritan's Purse webpage, they do have a place where you can actually build a box. And she was explaining how when these boxes go through customs to these other countries, sometimes they're asking, what are the items? What are they made of? Where do they come from? You know, just all kinds of things that you wouldn't think that they normally ask. But they ask all of these things, and for those of us that just pack boxes, they can't always answer that. But when they send items that are packed at their place in North Carolina, that they can actually tell them what's in those boxes. And what they do is they take the plastic boxes, shoe boxes, and when you order one of those to fill online, you order the items, you drag it down into the box that you want it to go into, and you can fill it with all kinds of different things. So that's how they do that. Then they take it into that warehouse with the shoe box, and they pack the shoe box with what you want, those kind of things. And they were showing the kids opening up their shoe boxes. She was explaining they always hand the shoe boxes out to the older group, which I think is 10 to 14, and then they do it to the younger group, which is 6 to 10, middle group, and then to the youngest, 2 to 4, last, how they hand these boxes out to them. She said, and then they showed a video of the kids opening up the boxes. And what happens is you see the little ones just clutching their boxes. The middle-aged kids aren't really opening their boxes. But what you see is the kids in the back, the older ones, open up their box and then start screaming, showing off their stuff. Then the middle kids seem to open theirs up. And in this one video, there were a lot of girls, and the girls had dolls. They had their dolls, and they were, doing this with their dolls, and that was pretty cute to see. And then the little kids were opening up their boxes. And she was explaining how the money system in this area where they were at is, I think it takes, she was describing it in shillings, like 1 shilling is equal to 1 mil, something like that. And a full day's a mil is equal to, like, I think 600 shillings or something like that. But that full month's worth of shillings for foods was equal or equivalent to hang on, I don't know what I'm hearing. Sorry about that. It was the propane guy delivering the propane, so I was out there talking with them for a few minutes. Where am I? I have to stop and think where I'm at. What am I doing? Am I on this road? No, I'm on this road coming back this way. All right. Crazy. Sorry about that. Anyway, what they were talking about were the different shillings that it cost for things, and they were talking about the equivalent of one of these boxes given to a child with the items in it is probably the equivalent of believe she said 3,000 to 5,000 shillings. So they consider these things very precious, and a lot of the parents were pressing in trying to get the boxes for their child because they were worried that their children would not get a box, even though they make sure they have plenty of boxes when they go. So that was rather interesting to see that aspect of it. But then, of course, they'd gone around taking different pictures of different areas where they were at. She had taken a picture of one of the churches where they were going in to deliver some of these boxes, and then the battery dies. Beginning to wonder if I'm ever going to get anywhere with this today. So anyway, she was taking pictures of different areas where they went in with these boxes, and she had taken a picture of one of the churches where they were giving out boxes. And the church was basically just a metal building, pretty much a dirt type floor. And the roof, the point of the roof where it joined didn't connect, and it had a hole in the roof. So, of course, when it rained, they probably just got rained on. But she just took a couple of pictures, so she could remember how poor this place is. And she'd taken some pictures of the marketplace downtown, and this is a town just outside of Nairobi. And they look like just a little shanty town, with the tin buildings and whatnot, and people don't have places to go to the bathroom. She had shown pictures of the bathrooms, and these were places that had bathrooms, and they're basically just like either cement or clay floor with a hole for you to do your business in, and you got to bring your own paper, that kind of thing, if you even have paper. She said she soon found out why many of the women actually wear skirts there. It's because it's much easier to squat and do your business than go on. And she said when they were pulling up to this one area, they had one of the fellows there was nailing a door onto the front of that little bathroom area. But she said in the marketplaces and where many of the people live, they don't have bathrooms, running water. And that for them to use one of those bathroom facilities, they are often charged like the equivalent of $25 to go to the bathroom. So a lot of the people there just do their business off the side of the road, wherever, in the bush, that kind of thing. But at this market, she was showing where there are a lot of clothing, and they are used clothing, and you would see the children there would be dressed, and when they go to church, they wear their best clothing, and usually it's the same outfit every time. And she was wondering how they do with the clothing. The way that they do it is they will buy things off of eBay, that kind of thing, or store closeouts, these marketers that sell clothing. And many times it's used clothing that they buy. And my first thought went to the big boxes where we donate our old clothing and things to people in third world countries. You've seen those boxes, the big orange boxes or yellow boxes. And that's exactly where some of that is going. These merchants buy from them. Yes, buy from them to sell them to the people in their country. So that was interesting, to see that bit of the aspect. And she was telling us that before she left, she decided to go on a safari. And when you go with one of these, you don't have a lot of luggage. You're only allowed to bring carry-on. So everything has to be on your carry-on luggage. So her safari was the last day before she left. She had already given away all of her clothing and some of the things that she had with her to those that could use it there in that area. And so she only had one set of clothing on when she went on this safari. She said she saw a ton of giraffes, saw all kinds of animals. The only thing that they didn't see on their safari was a lion. She said, however, there's usually 3 or 4 cars in these groups when they go through the safari, and they have a walkie-talkie system where they keep in contact with each other. One car had seen a lion catching its prey, and dragging it into the bush. And she said, so the other cars were letting them know where it was at. And some of the cars were trying to get the lion to come out of the bush where he had his snack at. And she said she was kind of glad that the lion didn't come out. He wouldn't budge. But she said lots of times when you're traveling to these places, there are no set roads. You're actually just driving out in the wild in between tree bushes. She said the one thing she noticed is one of the villages that they'd gone to, that it had these thorn bushes with thorns that were about this long. So, I sit here and I think, and I'm complaining about bushes in my yard that have thorns that are about that long, So yeah, it was just a different idea of what's going on in those nations. It's a little different than what we're used to seeing. So, very interesting to see that kind of thing, But anyway, with the guy outside, he showed me how to read the meter, how to determine when to call for another propane. Because I told him, I said, I knew that when I went out there that I probably needed to call when it showed up that there was about 25%. He said, yeah, we generally recommend 30. That way we can get out here to you. And he explained, the whole thing about why you want to do it then, because you actually have half than that left. So, and then we were laughing about the whole idea of if you do run empty, because it's propane heat, I'd have to call a service guy out to actually start the propane heat again. He said, I'm sure those service calls are about 75. I said, well, I think they're more than that, because every time I've called for a service call, they're about 125. So then we got talking about the way things are in America, the cost of everything and all that kind of stuff. So that was, fun little chat with my propane guy. Got to meet him firsthand. He said that this is the area he normally delivers to. So, and he was hoping he had the right house. He'd already started filling the tank, and I started laughing. I said, yeah, I don't think too many people out here have propane. I think most of them actually have oil. Um, but I wanted a gas stove, so that's why I have propane. And of course, the cats, the minute they heard someone at the door, went flying and running. Totally scared them, and they took off running, hiding in their little hidey holes. Caitlin's. Izzy's favorite thing is under the table. There's a little storage area under the table where you can store different things. You know, linens and things like that if you wanted to go on the table. She likes to hide under it, lay on it. So she was there. Ronan was back in the bedroom, hiding behind, on my bed, hiding behind the husband. And you know what those husbands are. You know, those bed pillows you use to sit in your bed and read. I generally, when I make my bed, I put it on there. And then we just kind of go from there. And so now they've come out and they've kind of walked around and sniffed like crazy. The propane guy had asked about the house. He said he walked around the outside. I said, well, I don't know what it looks like on the inside, but it's a big house. I said, well, you're more than welcome to come in and look. So took him a tour of the house. And, you know, he was like, wow, it's gorgeous. He started laughing. He said, yeah, I can see why you want to move, because it's very big. He said, I can't imagine wanting to clean all this much stuff. And I'll tell you, the thing that I've noticed with the having the CPAP, it is really messing with my vocal cords. And was talking with the doctor about that. I said, gotten to the point where I don't use any humidity at all because of how much it messes with my vocal cords. And then the rest of the day, I feel like I'm forcing myself to talk. I have to force it. And I find that rather annoying. So she's trying to look to see if there's something that can help me with that issue, because most people do not have just one vocal cord that works. And what people don't realize is, even when you are having that air pushed in, it is going past your vocal cords. So I doubt that there is an answer for that, honestly. But we'll just see what happens, see what comes of it. That's all I can do, right? And then we got to talking about the hurricane, the whole thing with it, and he said, you know, it's really annoying. He said, and he had family members who were in that area, Tennessee. He said the reason that a lot of them are getting denied by FEMA, or that $750, is because they have home insurance or renter's insurance. because those claims will pay out eventually. So I don't know. Now I've had a couple of them. He said he had a friend that told him that when you applied, because he applied at the FEMA truck, that it did say down there that it is a loan, and it has to be repaid within 90 days. But they assume that you'll be able to repay it because your insurance will have paid out by then. Now I'm curious how the insurance adjusters are going to get up there to some of those places. Are they going to ride a mule? A lot of those places there's no road whatsoever. And I do think it's interesting where he said a lot of the TikTok videos, YouTube videos where people are putting up what's happening is actually the truth of what's happening. That the government is actually lying to us. News stations are lying to you. So, it's kind of sad. But then some of the people that do get reimbursed or do get that $750, they have no place to spend it. So they're having to travel out of state or much further to get those things that they need. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. And of course, there's that lie going around there that a lot of Democrats are putting out there and saying that the Republicans voted down extra funding for FEMA day before they left, which is bullshit. They did pass the omnibus, not omnibus. Remember what it's called. Ronan, stop it. But they did pass the bill to keep the government going through December the 20th, which actually, if I remember correctly, gave $20 billion. It's $20 billion or $200 billion? I don't remember, but it was $20 billion. Or it was 200 million, I don't know, something like that, to FEMA for the hurricane season. So, just find it funny. But you can actually go find these out if you go look at the government website and follow it. You can find out a lot of things that are actually going on where, yes, there was a briefing how they had taken all that money from FEMA to use for illegal immigrants. That's right there on the White House YouTube channel. So you can certainly go watch it for yourself to see it. And then, of course, you have Kamala Harris admitting that. Where she had actually done a press conference talking about taking that money from FEMA to use for the crisis of the immigrants. There's plenty of evidence out there if you look. But what I find is a lot of people aren't willing to look. To go out there and search, to actually look for it, to see if it's there, see what was said, see if it's actually what they say. So yeah, I find fault with that for both both Republicans and people that lean left and right. We all do it. We're lazy. But generally within 5 seconds to 10 seconds, you can actually find the answer. So I don't know. I do find it interesting, watching some of the I think it's the 5th District Court that Trump had taken their complaint to about the whole thing with the lawsuit that was brought against him, claiming that there was fraud. And basically, it had to do with an issue that basically someone else claimed, but the two parties involved didn't claim. So they were wondering how they had any reason or standing to actually claim that. And looks like that may be something that this court doesn't make a ruling on it. My understanding the ruling is supposedly supposed to come up in the next couple of weeks. But if they don't, they'll move it up to the Supreme Court to be heard. And that should be interesting. Because according to law, there was no reason for the person that brought this case to even bring the case. Neither party was injured. Trump paid off what he was supposed to pay. So, interesting. And I always find it interesting when I have these people that say, Trump is guilty, he's a rapist. Well, no, nothing was ever proved there because there was no evidence. The reason that he got that money supposedly was the court decided to award her money for injury to her reputation, supposedly. But you know what I find funny? Is this woman is claiming the exact same thing against 23 other wealthy men. So, I kind of think she might be on the losing end when it comes down to it. The courts find out she's doing that. You know, I don't think she'll actually ever see that money. But we'll see. Like I said, he was never convicted of rape, because there was no rape charges that could be proved. No rape kit, no dress, although the woman presented a dress, said there was evidence on it. Nothing was on the dress. You name it. A lot of problems with that. And I think eventually that's going to be overturned as well. And I really could care less because, yeah, I'm going to vote for the felon. I have just seen so much from this administration where they will bald-faced lie to you 1 second, say it never happened, want to blame Trump for something they did. And I'm like, excuse me. Trump hasn't been in office for the last 3.5 years. How the hell could he do it? Quite frankly, there's no way that he could have done it. And if you want to talk about the problems with this this country and this world, all you have to do is look at who's been in control for all these years. Sorry, folks. It's been Democrats. This world has gone to shit and hell in a handbasket because of Democratic policies. Some of them suck. But that's my personal opinion. Do I think Republicans get it right? Nope. I don't. Don't think either one of them do. But I do think a man that was given, what was it, $4 million when his father passed away, turned it into billions, has an idea how to make money. I have a good feeling about that because, we don't necessarily want to go with someone who's not got a proven record of making money. Find it funny how many people he has sued himself, and he actually worked with the people and had no problem working with them after he sued them. So, and I do find that story about Robert F. K. Jr. or F.K. funny about him. His wife wanting him to go somewhere, and he said only if we can find someone to give us a free ride or something like that. And she came back and said, I found somebody who will give us a free ride. Trump said we can fly back with him. And RFK said, you do know I'm suing him. Trump said, yeah, it doesn't matter. You need a ride? Come on. And of course, I think that was the first time RFK had ever really had an opportune time to talk with Trump during that flight, got to know him a little bit better. So, but I do find that one of the funniest stories around. What you doing, Ronan? Earlier, when I was giving him a little bit of grief, I have a lamp that's right next to this chair that I use late at night when I'm sitting watching TV, knitting, crocheting, whatever. And he has this bad habit. He likes to get up, get next to it, and do a lot of rubbing on it, which I don't like to see him moving that lamp all over the place. I'm afraid he's going to knock it over. It's the only time he does that. But yeah, he's a bit of a crazy little cat sometimes. Lately, he's been getting in the bookshelf. He's claimed one shelf as his shelf to sleep on. And I'm like, I don't know what you're doing there, buddy. But yeah, he's a funny cat. Well, folks, I think I have chatted on long enough because my voice is getting even more hoarse. So I am going to let you go for now. I'm glad you joined me. I know that there will be a few more chats later on. I am also planning on doing a couple of chats while I'm working on some diamond painting, just because I think that might be fun. So I will see you again in a bit. In the meantime, remember, be a little kinder to yourself and to others. I'll see you soon. Bye.